You're watching the Target 7.2 retest video. Make sure you have the white packet in front of you. You're going to need to finish that white packet before you are allowed to retest. If you need any extra help, you can feel free to see your teacher before or after school. Ordering advisement works too. So let's look at a few problems from this retest packet. We're going to do 2, 4, 7, and 10 from that front page, and then we'll talk about the word problems on the back. So let's take a look at subtraction or addition either way. So the first thing that you need to notice is that all the functions are labeled in the directions. So f of x, g of x, m of x, and n of x are up there. And basically, you're going to take a look at what it asks you to do, take the functions involved, use the names that they give you. So f of x minus g of x is going to take f of x and subtract g of x. So f of x is 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x minus 7. And g of x is negative 3x cubed minus 5x squared minus x plus 10. And it says subtract, so we're going to subtract. Now the reason I picked the subtract one is because it's the same as the addition one, except it's subtraction. So we're going to change it to addition, but then when you do that, adding the opposite changes all the signs of the one after. So the negative 3x cubed turns into positive 3x cubed. The negative 5x squared turns into positive 5x squared. The negative x turns into positive x, and the positive 10 turns into a negative 10. So then combining like terms is all you need to do. So on the addition one, you don't need to change anything. You just combine the like terms. So let's start with the biggest exponent and put it in standard form. X cubed is the biggest exponent. 2 and a positive 3 is 5. And then going down 1 each time, x squared, 3x squared, and 5x squared makes 8x squared. Negative 4x and positive 1x makes negative 3x, and negative 7 and a negative 10 makes a negative 17. So there is the new function when you subtract the two. Okay, multiplication. So adding and subtracting looks like that every time. Try to get it to an addition by adding the opposite. If it's subtraction, if it's just addition, we're just combining like terms. Now, multiplication and division are a little different. Multiplication is going to use the area model. So that's the one I'm going to show you. I know you can also use the distributive property. So let's look and see what this looks like. M of x is this, 3x minus 1, and f of x is this. So the distributive property would take this term and multiply it by each one of these, and then this term and multiply it by each one of those, and then combine like terms. That's basically what the area model is going to do for you too. It's just set up a little differently. So the area model looks like this. We have 3x and negative 1. And then on the top, we're going to put all of the other polynomial. And then we multiply them. So basically, it's the same thing we said before. Distributive property, you took 3x times each of those 4 in the other parentheses. Well, guess what we're doing here? 3x times 2x cubed is 6, and then x times x cubed is x to the 4th. 3 times 3 is 9, and then x times x squared is x to the 3rd. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, and then x times x is x squared. And 3x times negative 21 is negative 21x. Negative 1 then, same as before, negative 1 times each one of those, negative 2x cubed, negative 3x squared, positive 4x, and positive 7. And then finally, we're going to add like terms. So 6x to the 4th is the largest exponent, and then those two can be combined to make 7x cubed. Those two can be combined to make negative 15x squared. Those two can be combined to make negative 17x, and then positive 7. There's your new polynomial. All right, now this one's a little peculiar. I just want to set it up for you. It's doing m of x times n of x squared. So we're going to look at what these are. Now usually you do the squared piece first. So that's kind of what we're going to do here. N of x is x plus 3. So really this is 3x minus 1 times x plus 3, and that squared just means x plus 3 twice. So with multiplication, you can do in any order. So I'm going to do a box with 3x minus 1 and x and positive 3. I get 3x squared, 9x, negative 1x, negative 3. And you see that those two can be combined. 3x squared plus 8x minus 3. But we now also have this piece. So x plus 3 times that. I'm just going to do another box right underneath. So now it's 3x cubed, 8x squared, negative 3x, 9x squared, 24x, and negative 9 for a final answer of 3x cubed. Combining those two, I get 17x squared. Combining those two, 21x, and then minus 9. There's your final polynomial. All right, so that's multiplication. I use the box each time. If your teacher likes the distributive property and you want to do it that way, that's fine too. Although, pay attention. If you got them wrong on the test using the distributive property, maybe you should be using the area model too, the boxes. So let's go to the division one. This one says g of x divided by n of x. So I have negative 3x cubed minus 5x squared minus x plus 10 divided by, x plus 3. Now for division, you learned about synthetic division, which puts the 0 in the box up here. Well, this is a factor. When it's written in a bundle like that, it's a factor. So the 0 that matches this is whatever would make this equal to 0. That is negative 3. So the 0 is right here, and that's the one that goes in the box. So negative 3 goes in the box. Now, as far as exponent, or the numbers go on top of the synthetic division, they're all the coefficients of this piece. Keeping in mind that if you see an exponent missing, cubed, squared, first, and then constant, if you see an exponent, one of those missing, you have to put a 0 in to hold its place. So for this case, there's nothing missing. And we can go ahead and do our synthetic division. Bring the first known number down, and then we're going to multiply by this. This is our multiplier to get the next number up. And then add to go down, and then multiply to get the next number up. Add to go down, and then multiply to get the next number up, then add to go down. All right, the final piece of the synthetic division is figuring out that this is the remainder, this is your constant, this is your x to the first and your x squared, and it would keep going if there was another number there, but always start at the right. So our polynomial is, our answer, 3x squared plus 4x minus 13, that's our constant, and then the remainder gets written plus 49, because it's a positive 49, over the x plus 3, and that x plus 3 came from right there. Okay, so there was all of the operations. Now, the word problems follow those operations just based on what they're asking for. For example, here's a perimeter, here's an area, here's a volume. We just need to know what those formulas are and how you find them, and then take the polynomials that it gives you and multiply them or add them or do whatever it takes. So perimeter is the distance around. So if I draw this triangle, and I would suggest doing that for every one of these, draw whatever shape it gives you. The perimeter is the distance around. It's all those sides added up. So really, we're just trying to do this. And what do we do when we add? We just put the like terms together, add like terms. 2x plus 3x plus 4x is 9x's. 3 and negative 1 is 2, and then we add 6 to that, and we get 8. 9x plus 8, adding like terms. There's the perimeter. We're whereas the area looks a little different. So here's your rectangle. Here's x minus 5 on this side. Here's 3x minus 12 on this side. If we want to find the area, that is the length times the width, which is x minus 5 times 3x minus 12. So this is where you would use the distributive property, or you could use a box, either way. I'm going to show you using the area model, the box. And I get 3x squared, negative 12x, negative 15x, and positive 60. For my final area of 3x squared, combining those two like terms, get 27x's plus 60. There you have it. And finally, the volume. And a volume of a box. So if this is the box, right there, it's saying the length, width, and height of this box. So, it doesn't really matter which side you put them on. In this case, x plus 6, the volume is length times the width times the height, or depth, or however you want to say it. So what we need to do is multiply length times width first, and then times the height or the depth, and we have that. Again, multiply means area model. Combine those two. So when we multiply the first two polynomials, I get x squared plus 2x minus 3. And then I'm going to take into account the x minus 6 then too. And combining like terms here, my final volume is x cubed plus 1x squared minus 5x's and then positive 3. There's my final volume. Okay, feel free and rewind that tape and take a look at it. If you need more help than just the movie, go ahead and see your teacher before or after school or during advisement.